Exactly. And that's the whole
Wow.
purpose of Black Book, is to put out music that connects people and allows them to have that emotion, stick within that and live within that for as long as possible.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Emily Curl with iHeartRadio, and today we're hanging out with neo-classical musician and artist BLKBOK here with us. Hi BLKBOK, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, thank you for being here, and first off, congratulations on your debut album, Black Book. We're gonna dive into that, but first, I wanna take it back to the beginning. Tell me a
Okay.
little bit about when you first discovered your love of music.
Wow. It's a great story too. So I was 7 or 8 years old. I was playing a recital and I was playing a Mozart sonata, which was pretty difficult for, my age level. Um, and I got
Just a
done,
little.
just a little, and I got done and I took my bow and I started walking off stage, and as I just loudly, I went, "Phew," and the whole audience just bursted out laughing because they felt it. They knew that, like, for me, it was a challenge, but I got through it, and they understood. And from that moment, I was just like, this is that's one
You're
of the
hooked.
moments that I live for. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And now, okay, if I have this right, by age 8, you're like a piano prodigy, right? At that age, did you realize, okay, I'm good at this? Or were you just like a kid who loved to play music? Did you realize the gravity of it?
Exactly. I was just a kid that played music. Like, I wanted to play basketball. My mom was like, "No, you're gonna practice." I'm like, "Oh, whatever." But it was just, I was totally a kid with it. Like, it wasn't anything that I had recognized. Like, oh, I'm really good at music.
Now, paint the picture for me growing up. What artists were like always playing in the house? Walk me through that. What did that look like?
Every Sunday, my mother would clean the house and she would listen to Stevie Wonder every Sunday. So as well, my father he was born and raised in Detroit, and he was around during the Motown era and going to the Motown reviews. So the Temptations and Marvin Gaye, but as well, he was a rock fan. So he listened to Santana and he listened to Allman Brothers. And my mother was a I come from a jazz family on her side. So there was Miles Davis and John Coltrane and like all the classics and all the legends. And then she loved Nancy Wilson, so there were singers and people who were crooners and balladeers or whatever you would call them. Like, so there was a wide range of music. And then at the same time, I was listening to Ice Cube or like Wu-Tang
Yes.
Clan. So it was
Yes.
just, everything was going on at the same time. Yeah.
Take me back to your first concert. Who was the first person you saw on stage where you're like, I need that to be me?
The first concert I saw was this Swedish harpist. His name is Andreas Vollensweider. He's got Grammys in world music, so it's very world music flavored. But he's still my hero and my inspiration for a lot of things that I do. But he's the best at telling musical stories, like musical storytelling. He's so good at it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good. Oh, I love that. And now your talents led you to big stages, so you got to play with artists like Rihanna, Justin Timberlake, John Mayer.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that time in your life. What's one moment that sticks out to you where you're like, okay, wow, this is surreal?
Being on stage with John was like I'm back to the garage playing with the homies, and like sometimes we jam, sometimes we play songs that we've already prepared. Like, it was just a super surreal moment for me. Justin Timberlake's Future Sex Love Sound and doing the first HBO special ever with that was, absolutely mind-blowing. I couldn't believe that I was on stage with that many cameras pointed at us and just doing this amazing performance. Rihanna, of course, it's Rihanna. Like, every moment's incredible with Rihanna. There's like a bit in one of the shows where she and I sit on the piano, she sits on the piano, and then we go way up in the air, and then the piano turns in the air. It's absolutely crazy. So all of those moments, like, were just like, wow, I'm actually here doing this right now. I still don't believe it.
Yeah, and working with so many acclaimed artists, what's something that you took away that you wanted to adopt into your own artistry?
All of them have a common bond, and they all are very hard workers, and they're very meticulous. Like, they notice the details, and I think that's what separates them from everyone else, is how they notice the details. And that's one of the things that I've definitely adopted into my own artistry. Pay attention to the small things. Those are the things that matter.
And we can obviously tell, congratulations, Black Book is phenomenal. Listening to
Thank
it,
you so much.
even just listening, I'm like, how, again, I just think about the hours and hours of practice and discipline that must have gone into that. So your debut album, what did this process look like making this?
So I started right before we went into lockdown in 2020. And what I did was I worked on it for 121 days, consecutive days. So I didn't take any day, like no days off, literally no days off.
How? Have you always had that stamina, or were you just like, I'm doing this, I'm committed?
I'm committing to this. I am totally committing to this. And I was enrolled in a program where it's called the Creators Workshop. It's hosted by Seth Godin. And I committed to 100 days of writing with accountability. So every day I would write, I would post to the boards, and people could see or hear the music that I was writing. So for the first time in my life, I wrote in public.
Ooh, and were you getting instant feedback? Like,
I was
that
getting
a good
instant
process
feedback.
For you?
It was, at first, it was terrifying. At first, it was absolutely terrifying. But as I got into it, it became empowering. Like being able to really connect with people and them being able to see these blocks being put, these small bits of music being put together into this body of work was like super empowering.
Now talk to me about your process too, because I find this fascinating. It's like when you were creating a piece of music, does the music and emotion come to you first and then you're like, this describes this title track, this moment in my life? Or is it the opposite where you're like, this is such a pivotal moment, let me write the music to that? If that makes sense.
Both. Yes.
Really?
Both. Sometimes the emotion comes first. Sometimes the actual event comes first. So like in the case of George Floyd and the struggle for equality, that event happened before the music happened. And the music is just a reflection of my personal emotions that I felt dealing with this event that was happening. But then there are other pieces where, I would completely write it and then, like Amalia's Ocean, for instance, I wrote the piece completely, didn't have a title for it, asked everybody in the workshop, what do you think I should do? And there was one student who was able to connect with her mother in a very special way through my music. They would listen every morning as they got their coffee. And they began to it became a ritual for them during lockdown. So she said, well, it sounds like an ocean. And she said, my mom screamed from the other room, he should name it after me. So that's how we got Amalia's Ocean.
Cute. Oh, I love that. Oh my God. That's going to like stick with them forever. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole purpose of Black Book, is to put out music that connects people and allows them to have that emotion, stick within that and live within that for as long as possible. That's
what I also want to talk about is November 7th, 2020, which was a really hopeful day for our country and one of your most popular songs on the album. How did you channel those feelings and emotions into this one in particular? The thing that I saw on November 7th was people, regardless of COVID, outside celebrating and dancing together all over the world. I mean, I was literally watching CNN and I put it on pause and I started playing that, and it sounded like the soundtrack to what was happening on the TV. So it just kind of naturally, organically titled itself, because it was just me being able to channel that energy, that hopeful, spiritual togetherness, and it just came out in the piece. Like it was an amazing moment. Oh, I love that. And now we also have to talk about your new EP cover art, which is so good. We've got Best Friend on there, What's Next, Leave the Door Open. This had to be fun to make. How did you land on which songs that you wanted to cover? Well, Best Friend was because I just wanted to do something for my best friend. Her name is China Kim. And I was just like, me and Best Friend, we talk every day, and it's just like we always have fun and everything. So does she love it? Like I'm sure she listens to that nonstop. Yeah, we literally pick up the phone and we go, "That's my best friend." We just go, we just go off for a minute. Yeah. So, that was one of the reasons why. Also, Drake, What's Next was very popular at the time, and it was kind of crazy because the decision to make it a ballad or to make it a slow song was kind of like, okay, how do I do this? And then it's kind of like a loop. Like the song itself is a loop. So I had to kind of create these kind of other images to go along with this loop. And it was just super fun to make, and just, testing my own, testing the edges of my creativity in that way. I feel like you're always challenging yourself. Do you already have an idea for what your next project is going to be? What else can we look forward to from you? Actually, we're at the end of my next project. So it's music that's already recorded. I'm not going to say what it is. You saw me get excited. I was like, do we get a preview here? Okay. Yeah, it's so good though. Like everything that I'm listening to now, I mean, I'm always hypercritical of myself, which is, I think, what makes good art. But there are moments where I'm like, damn, we nailed this. And I've had, and you feel that. You feel that for this one? This next one, yeah. Can you tell us what inspired this one?
Yeah, what inspired it was just like being able to tell a story that already exists, but then take this black neoclassical composition, the mind of a black neoclassical composer in 2021, and kind of like take something, encapsulate it, and create something new with it.
Okay, I'm excited for that. I cannot wait for that. BLKBOK, thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on Black Book and cover art. Truly, I mean, you should be so proud.
Thank you so much.
Of course, and thank you all for watching. Make sure you stream all of BLKBOK's music on iHeartRadio, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.